Hello, Key Biscayne. It is Monday, November 26, 2018, and this is your No One's Listening show, episode 133. I'm your host, Rafa, and I am here on the solo panel tonight because everybody else on the panel had an emergency. Don't worry, they're all right, and they're going to be fine, I've heard, but they just couldn't make it to the show today, so it's just me and this bottle of whiskey. It's a bottle that I got for my birthday. It's called Basil Hayden. This is an American bourbon whiskey. It's a blend like they all are. And I will tell you, this is garbage whiskey. It has a very nice bottle. It's kind of expensive. A low alcohol content compared to other whiskeys. Avoid it like the plague, even if you think it's going to be nice because of the bottle. It's called Basil Hayden. Anyway, let's start how we always start. It's called Weekend Talk, and what's good is that I think I hung out with most of the panel and I knew what they did this weekend or some of the things they did. So, let's see, starting with Thanksgiving. Okay. On the night before Thanksgiving, well, 2 nights before Thanksgiving, I went out with a bunch of friends to do a Budsgiving type of thing. And we went out to the bar and had a couple drinks and did our thing. So by the night before Thanksgiving, I was already, didn't really find a good plan and managed to stay in. Pick up my brother at the airport. And then I go to the hospital, and I won't even talk about that right now, but my sister's in the hospital. She's all right. Thank you. And we head over to Anna's house, who had invited us to have Thanksgiving at her house. And it was great. They had this she made this amazing macaroni and cheese. There was also this huge turkey, great gravy. The whole works. We played guitar. We had a lot of drinks. I made eggnog, which I always make, or I tend to make every year, and I just give it out or take it to these parties because nobody would make eggnog. Nobody wants to drink it, but it's pretty good. Really loaded eggnog. Had some of that. And then after that, we went over to another friend of the show, another panelist, to Lenny and Tom's house, the Webbers, and they were having their own little party over there, and it was also a great time. I also ran into Manny, another panelist there, and just good times all around. It was fun to share Thanksgiving with so much of the show, inadvertently, too. I'll tell you another fun story from this weekend. Anna has these cigarettes that are like country cigarettes, and they have this phone number on them. She buys them in a remote town in Brazil, and they have this phone number on them, presumably for the guy who rolls the cigarettes. I mean, they're made out of straw, and they don't really have filters or anything. And so during the party at one point, we take a picture of myself smoking one of these things, and we sent it off to this random guy in Brazil. Anyway, he looked at it and never got back to me. Anyway, okay, so let's see what else happened this weekend. Oh, yeah, on Saturday. Was it Saturday? Yeah, so Friday, KO'd most of the day. Tried to hang out at night, didn't work out. Saturday, played music all day, piano. My buddy Al, who's in town, and with Anna. Then we go out to New Kitchen to have dinner. Then we go to the Deuce to have more drinks. And then we go to Free Spirits to take a piss. And that was just a great night because if you go to these places, if you go to these divey, smoky little places, you get that vibe of just straight comfort, especially if you're a real drinker. If you really like to drink and you want to be surrounded by other people who like to drink, and there's no pretension and no nothing, going to these nasty little dives is a thing to do. All right, that's your weekend talk. I'm rambling over here, and I don't really have anybody else's weekend. I think Manny did a paddleboard thing where they picked up some trash, but I didn't go to that, and I don't really know the details. Okay, music. What are you listening to? Okay, I'm going to tell you about a cool band that I discovered this week. Really stupid name. It's called Psychedelic Porn Crumpets, and the song's called My Friend's a Liquid. So this is one of these bands, if you've been following music from Australia, there's a whole psychedelic scene in Australia, starting with Tame Impala, which is maybe the most famous and most kind of mainstream sound, to Pawn, to King Gizzard, to Gum. And these guys, Psychedelic Porn Crumpets, I'm not picking up right now. Psychedelic Porn Crumpets are another band in that kind of Australian vibe. They're a little more straightforward, and this song especially is a little more straightforward. It's called My Friend's a Liquid. Go check it out. It came out like last week. Worth your time. And I don't have anybody else's picks right now, but if they call in, we'll get to those. It'll probably be a short show today because I can only ramble so long, but I do have some topics here that I can rant on. So, as we always do, talk of the town. Okay, first thing I have written down here is how I want to toot my own horn because stop calling, man. I'm not going to pick up. I don't feel like talking to people. If I wanted to talk, I would have, we would be together. I don't feel like talking. I don't feel like picking up the phone and doing that stupid shit. Send me a text message if you want me to talk to you about something. Anyway, a couple of weeks back, months back now, we had this whole seaweed problem, the poo in the water, all that stuff. And now it's all gone. And we talked about it when it just happened, but I think enough time has passed and the hysteria is gone for me to say that the closing of the beaches with the poop stuff was definitely related to the seaweed. The seaweed is gone, the beaches are fine. It had nothing to do with a pipe leaking. It had nothing to do with runoff. I mean, those things could be what it starts the initial thing, but those things weren't getting worse, let's put it that way. They weren't getting worse. It was just the seaweed that was trapping all this stuff and causing these problems. Now, obviously the seaweed is a problem, but it's not a municipal problem. That is if anything, it's a global problem. They said that the seaweed comes because the hotter the water, the easier it is for it to grow. Whatever. Now it's a little cooler. Now it doesn't grow as much, and so it's not coming right now. But I remember the hysteria. What are we going to do? Where are we going to test? Why aren't they doing this? Why don't they close the plant, which is probably a good idea, closing that sewage plant. Well, all this stuff. But now, in hindsight, we notice that the seaweed is gone, and so everything else is gone with it. All the poop, all the problems. So I just want to congratulate myself because I was so smart to know that happened. Anyway, if you have any comments, make sure you type them in there. I'll read them, but I don't want to talk to anybody because I just don't want to pick up the phone right now. But if you have anything to say, don't hesitate to let me know there in the chat or whatever. Just put it in text. Okay, next up. The Islander News has a new editor. Her name is Raquel Garcia. She is from Miami. And the publisher, Justo Rey, who I am not particularly fond of some of the things he's done at the paper. Well, really just that Spanglish thing that I talk about all the time. I don't like Spanglish in the newspaper. But to his credit, he is touting the fact that all the people who make the paper are going to work on the island, at the office on the island. Raquel Garcia, the new editor, has worked at the Herald and some other places, and she lives in Shenandoah, so I mean she's right off the island. So that is a welcome change for the Islander, because a lot of us were thinking that it was a problem that these guys well, the whole thing was outsourced, And if the whole thing's outsourced, well, what does that really say about the paper? And this leads me to the other thing that's happening right now, and I hope it's because they didn't have an editor, but the Islander has these columns. They're written by people who live on the Key, but they have nothing to do with the Key, and they are very shallow columns. One of them this week was investment advice, and just go read it, please. It's a column on investment. No offense to the guy who wrote it, but don't write that crap. It was, what kind of investment advice are you going to give in a weekly newspaper? He basically says, watch out because interest rates might go up, but they also might not go up in mid-December. Okay, come on, man. That's worthless. They should pad the paper with things about the Key, no matter how stupid. I don't care if you're reporting on broken things in the sidewalk. Honestly, it's better than dumb investment advice, health advice, surgery advice, life tips. I don't go to the Islander News to hear about anything that has nothing to do with the island. If somebody from the island is doing something off the island, okay, it's a stretch. I gotcha. You got your story. They're promoting something. Okay, great. But investment tips, just because it's a guy from the Key, investment tips once a week in 3 paragraphs, you're not going to give me anything. Just get that crap out of the paper. Now, again, I suspect it's because they just don't have anything to write about. This week's Islander was all Thanksgiving and the Ultra meeting that happened 2 weeks ago. So I get somebody's talking about Ultra. Ultra sucks. Ultra talk sucks. I'll get to that later. And the tree huggers and all that stuff. Okay. So anyway, the paper. We'll see what happens. We got a new editor. This new editor is going to work on the Key. The rest of the staff works on the Key. I'm not sure how many writers they have, what they're going to do. If this new editor will put a stop to this Spanglish crap, I hope so. And I hope they get rid of these national articles that are really stupid and nobody wants to read. They read like those fake newspapers, the ones that are all ads and they have just like the unresearched stuff. Not to say it's unresearched, but it's just so fluff that it's just bad. Okay, moving on. Let me check. Today is Monday, November 26, 2018. This is the No One's Listening Show, episode 133. And it's not that everybody's in the bathroom. It's that there is only one man on the panel tonight, and it is yours truly. I do have a little announcement to make, 2 little announcements to make. One person who couldn't be here today, not because of any emergency, but because of a prior commitment, is our buddy Griff, Mystery Man Griff. And he's very happy because he bought a new old car over in Colombia. So congrats, Griff. You finally got the car, truck, whatever. It's a Land Rover. Congrats to you. And the other thing I wanted to mention, I don't know the exact details. I don't know where you can get these, but word on the street is that you can get fresh, mammoth, Georgia pecans from the Key Biscayne Women's Club on the island right now. I don't know who to contact. I don't know where they're selling them. But you find yourself somebody in this elusive Key Biscayne Women's Club. I don't know any members of this club. It's kind of like the Freemasons, but only for womens. And they have fresh, giant, mammoth Georgia pecans for $10. I suggest you get them. You can make them sweet, or you can make them spicy or salty. Sweet is kind of the easy go-to, and it's really good. But you might want to give us a shot to one of those spicy, salty recipes. All you got to do is put it in the oven for a little while and then salt them up, spice them up, do your thing. Okay, what's up next? What's up, chats? Oh no, here I got a little something for you porkies out there. New Overeaters Anonymous starts tonight, 7 p.m. at the community church. Ooh, you still got 15 minutes to get over there. Overeaters Anonymous. I never thought of it like that, but I guess it's good to have a support group. If you are planning or looking to lose some of those pounds before the holidays instead of after the holidays, you can go to the community church, Overeaters Anonymous. What is overeating, you know? You eat till you're full, right? I think that's what most people do. Unless you snack all day, then you're in trouble. What else do I have here? WhatsApp chats. WhatsApp chats. Okay, we've talked about this a lot on the show, so I'll try and make this concise. The Key has a lot of WhatsApp chats. It's, I suppose, easier than Facebook, which was the old place to rant and rave. For those of you who still check Facebook all the time and are not in these WhatsApp chats, you're missing out because you think that the conversation kind of died down on Facebook, but it's actually happening in these chats. These chats are 257 people each. That's the maximum. And about 5 people talk in each chat, at most. And they get really hysterical. So I'm in this Key Biscayne pedestrian chat. And today, somebody sent a picture of somebody's license plate and said, let me say that the chief of police is in this chat too. Somebody sends the picture of a license plate of somebody in the that they saw on the street and said, this guy was swerving and doing some stuff on Crandon. At what point does this become like a vigilante thing? There's only about 5 people who are active. You have no proof that anything wrong was done. You know, you just have a person's license plate. Now, I mean, I kind of believe it's some kid going too fast in traffic, but I know that at least 3 people on the panel like to drive fast also. I can't imagine them getting called out and getting like this kind of vigilante justice on them. They're very hysterical. They let things move too fast. So when somebody gets miffed at something on the island, instead of just kind of letting things simmer like you would normally, maybe imagine something happened to you at Winn-Dixie or something back before these chats. At most, if you feel real comfortable about telling somebody, you're going to send a text out to a friend or something and rant. Okay, and that friend is going to look at it and say, this person's having a bad day. Fine. But nowadays, you can broadcast to 257 people, or more if you're in more of these chats, instantly your frustrations and make it seem like it is some kind of life or death situation. It's happening with Ultra too. People are hysterical. Oh, we got to keep fighting, all this stuff. Hey. The same people, they kind of feed off it. So now this week, or last week, there's somebody on this Key Biscayne bad parking thing on Facebook, which, I don't know, I heard it's become very toxic. Just people posting the most mundane things and criticizing them. So like you're barely over the line, okay, you're bad parker, whatever. What started as something fun has turned into this pedantic kind of, I don't know, like get a life type of thing for the people who use it. So one of the members there, I wish I had the name because I would say it out loud, but I don't know who it was. He wants to start a WhatsApp chat with this same kind of content. And this stuff, oh man, what am I doing here? The WhatsApp chat with the same kind of bad parking content. And so you think to yourself, like, what is the point of this stuff? You just want to have some kind of constant pinging in your pocket of negativity all day? That's what you want. You want to be able to check your phone all day and say, oh, God, that is a bad parker. Thank God I'm not that kind of person. While you go around talking on your cell, checking it while you're driving in your car on your cell phone or whatever, that instantly becomes somebody else's bad kind of person. Get off of this. Look, this ties back to everything that is social media and why it's such a, for the most part, negative, like a negative thing in people's lives. Sure, you can communicate. You can communicate with anybody almost instantly. That's great. But 90% of the time, you don't need to do that. You didn't need to do that before it happened, before it was available. And there's a good amount of time where you are just feeling bad about what you're seeing on the internet. Why would you want to keep checking a thing constantly that makes you upset when you see it? And then you see other people getting upset at things, and you think that those people are experiencing these things outside of their phones, but they're really not. They're just kind of yelling into this phone bubble or computer, whatever have you. You need to become self-aware that this kind of crap is bad for you. I feel like the stupid column in The Islander telling you some life tips, but I see it on the Key, and it's very relevant to the Key because people are going ape shit about this. They're telling when the mayoral thing was happening, everybody was blah, 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 blah. All these things are so important. Oh my God, we need strict enforcement. Which, by the way, when is that strict enforcement going to start? Because I haven't seen it yet. I did see a sign that says strict enforcement, but anyway, WhatsApp chats, Facebooks, all this stuff. Be very careful. It just exists to piss you off to a certain extent. It's just there to really make you burn. Get to you. That's all I'll say about that, unless anybody has anything more to say about that. Okay, so now I'm going to pick on something that I can never talk about because, the panel. So one thing that I've always thought, let me tell you something. You know all these green initiatives on the Key? I'm 100% for environmental initiatives, okay? To a certain extent. There are some things that I feel... How can I put this? Okay. When we think about the little things, I feel sometimes that we are missing the big things. So, when you decide to pick up some trash, yes, it's a good thing, and it's a good thing that you have the mentality of wanting to pick up the trash, and it's a good thing that you organize things around these things and all that stuff. But I think, and it's especially good, that it gets people thinking about how much trash there is, and will make them vote, I hope, in the direction of thinking about trash. Okay? But what is not good about these kind of initiatives is that the problem is not an individual person's problem, okay? And to have individuals think that they are going to make a dent by picking up, I think is a little bit dangerous. They are going to make the tiniest dent, but really, this is a problem for communal action from governments much higher than our local governments. But we could also start with local governments, okay? Having people pick up a little trash, I wonder if it gives them the false sense that things are moving when, if policy doesn't change, things are not truly moving. The majority of plastic in the ocean is dumped by fishermen and their fishing crap, okay? Unless you get some kind of law that says that they can't dump that stuff, or that there's some kind of penalty or some kind of thing. I don't know how you would do it, okay? Maybe it'd be tough. Maybe you get some, you'd have to figure that out. But until you get something like that, you can pick up all the crap you want. It's going to keep washing in forever. And it's something. Look up the statistics. I want to say that something like 80% of plastic in the ocean is fisherman's crap. It's a bigger problem than just having people do little things. And it goes so much further if you can get municipalities to make a difference. So, we see styrofoam on the beach all the time, the tiniest pieces of styrofoam. This is a product that doesn't need to exist anymore. What year is it? It's 2018. We have paper alternatives for this crap, and it's everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. It's so hard to clean up off the beach because it turns into these little tiny things. This stuff, you can get a paper equivalent of all your styrofoam things for maybe like a penny more. And if more people bought the paper stuff, I bet it would go down in price too. But we still keep selling polystyrene. You want a real solution? You want a real help? Get that polystyrene banned. They banned it on the Key for the government to use it, okay? They didn't go as far as they did with the plastic straws to prohibit businesses from using it. Why not? Nobody needs this crap. Everybody has the paper, recycled paper containers are everywhere. It's not going to hurt anybody. And even though the Key just doing their little thing is not really going to put the biggest dent in things. I mean, it might make a little bit of a difference on our streets and on our beach. What it does do is send a big, strong message to governments across the state that say, hey, we are against this crap and we're willing to ban it. And so is whoever, Coral Gables or whatever. And they see precedent in what we do, and then they do the same. You gotta act locally, but you really do need to start thinking about the bigger picture, because no amount of sweeping the beach is going to fix this problem. It's going to take much, much bigger thinking than that, okay? And it's time to think of it that way instead of kind of thinking, we swept the beach, we're halfway there. You're not even 0.0001% there until you do the big, big, big reforms. So, anyway. Yes, Rafa's rants. That's my rant on that. And, oh no, do I not have anything else? What time is it? Oh, wow, I did pretty good. 6:58 p.m. on this Monday, November 26, 2018. I'm Rafa. The panel had a not tragic, really. They all had an emergency. They're all very okay, but they couldn't make it today. So I'm the only one here with a bottle of whiskey that is really bad. It's called Basil Hayden. Don't buy it. It looks really nice. Don't buy it. If you like bourbon whiskey, do not buy this whiskey. It's horrible. Okay. Do I have anything else? Do. Okay, I have calendar, I guess. If you guys have anything you want me to talk about, if you want me to talk more about any of these topics, let me read the comments real quick before I go on to calendar and kind of end the show. Don't forget ultra contingency. Okay, I can tell you guys that the environmental plan we talked about last week is still pending, so Ultra has not committed to anything just yet. We are still kind of a wait and find out to that. Something about sewers, I don't care. The bourbon is called Basil Hayden. Do not buy it. It is really bad. The bourbon I like to drink now is probably an Elijah Craig, and I tend to like rye whiskeys because I like them a little less sweet. But Elijah Craig or Wild Turkey are good, less sweet bourbons that I like to drink. Okay, if you have any other topics you want me to kind of chime in on, I do have a lot of strong opinions on a lot of these things. If not, I will just go straight to the calendar. I want to remind everybody that there are Christmas trees being sold at the Key Biscayne Community Church. They do it every year. I'm not sure who the money goes to, but I'm sure it's for a good cause. They do good things over there, and they're nice people. Go buy your tree over at the Key Biscayne Community Church. Get there early so you can get a big tree. You don't want to get stuck with a little rinky-dinky tree, and then your kids cry in the morning on Christmas Day because the presents don't even fit under this rinky-dinky little thing that you got because you waited too long to get your Christmas tree. So go over there, Community Church Christmas trees. On November 27th, Between the Dark and the Light, Grateful Dead photos, an exhibition of Grateful Dead photos, and then a band named Unlimited Devotion are playing at, if I remember this right, it's the Jewish Community Center in Miami Beach. Look that up. Between the Dark and the Light, Grateful Dead photos, and Unlimited Devotion. On November 30th, you got a full moon party at Bill Baggs, which seems kind of weird because the full moon was like 2 days ago, so I'm not sure why this says there's a full moon party in a week, but there is a full moon party at Bill Baggs on November 30th. Seems like it's going to be a waning gibbous moon. December 7th, Patrick and the Swayzes play at the Yard. If you saw them at the Key Biscayne 4th of July parade party 2 years ago, they play great 50s covers. The singer is phenomenal. The whole band's phenomenal. Go check them out, December 7th. December 8th is the Key Biscayne Yacht Club's Winter Boat Parade. And if that gets rained out or if there's kind of weather issues, it'll be on December 15th. You can watch it at the No Name Harbor. That's where everybody goes and watches in the state park. Or you can talk to somebody from the yacht club and get on one of the boats. It's great. I said it last week that they have a fallback day for the next week because it's been, I think, 2 years since they had one, and it really sucks when this great parade, they get all the boats, they put lights all over them, and they go through the bay. It really sucks when it gets canceled, and then they have no contingency plan. So this year there's a contingency plan. I want to thank whoever thought about that. I wonder if it was Lenny. If it was you, good job. If it wasn't, well, you can take the credit. On January 19th, the Bill Baggs is having a gala to celebrate 50 years of being called Bill Baggs State Park. It's going to be a big party at the park, January 19th. I'm sure you'll hear about it before then. Okay. Oh, okay. So you guys don't have anything else for me? Let me see if I have anything written down here. Sorry. I can't think of anything off the top of my head right now. Maybe I can check these chats. Okay. No, I didn't lie that the door was closed. That's funny. I do like doing the show by myself, I'm not going to lie, but I wouldn't want to do this again for a long time. The show by yourself is fun because you can say whatever and it's short and sweet and nobody bothers you, but at the same time, what's wrong with the show by yourself is that nobody can chime in about anything and nobody can contradict you. I guess that's going to be the show, unless anybody else has any comments here. No, I wouldn't answer. So I will talk about this. Manny called me at the beginning of the show a couple times to see if he could say something, but I didn't want to go live with a call. I hate going live with a call that I don't know what they're going to talk about. So real radio shows have a producer that screens all the calls, and they know what the person is going to talk about, and then they tell the host, hey, this guy's going to come in and talk about this. And it's like, okay, great. But on our show, we don't have that, and whenever somebody calls and they talk about something that isn't what we're talking about, it's, I don't know, it just throws me off completely. I just don't like it. So next time, just text me your call. You don't need to call in, and you don't need to get the spotlight. I'm stealing the spotlight today. If you wanted the spotlight, you could have come to the show. It was available the whole time. You did everything you could, but we couldn't have it. We couldn't put it together. Let's figure it out for next time. Don't worry, we'll get your opinions on there. Yeah, well, don't say that. You know what? I won't even dignify that with an answer. He says, if I knew the show was 30 minutes, I wouldn't have ditched. You know what? Do you have any topics for me? Can we have just one topic? I want to rant about one more thing, maybe. Let me think. I will rant about Winn-Dixie. I've said this a million times, but it happened to me again last week. Winn-Dixie does not restock the same products. So you get used to one product, and then 2 months later, there's no more products. The same one that you loved is gone. I'll give you an example. I buy Wesley. Usually, I used to buy a brand called Bob's Red Mill, something like that. It was always there. They got rid of it. And they replaced it with a bunch of granola. And it sucks because all the granola that they replaced it with, granola is not Wesley. It looks the same, but it's not. Granola has a ton of sugar in it. They load it with sugar, and it just tastes like kids' candy cereal. If you eat granola and you think, oh, I'm really into this health thing, I eat granola. Granola is bullshit, okay? Step it up to the oats and the Wesleys and the things like that. Anyway, they got rid of all my good products, and they replaced them with a bunch of garbage. Winn-Dixie does this to me all the time. I'm getting some certain Brussels sprouts. Sorry, that brand's out of here. We're going to replace it with this other crappy brand that has butter on the frozen Brussels sprouts. Thanks, Winn-Dixie. Winn-Dixie also does this thing that I think, even though we are their flagship store, definitely their cleanest store, they have a kind of a top-down way of thinking about things that they do regional buying. So even though we are a kind of Whole Foods type of community people out here, the people who are doing the buying for our store are thinking about their more their other stores in like Podunk, Florida, or whatever that don't really care about those things and want to eat, Cocoa Puffs for every meal. That's why I can't get my stupid products out of Winn-Dixie, and that's why Winn-Dixie sucks ass. They should go away. Somebody should buy them out. It's not going to happen. When I heard that they went bankrupt, I was so happy, and then it didn't lead to absolutely anything. Anyway, that's my really bad rant. I know this one was bad on Winn-Dixie. If you have anything else you want to talk about, it is Monday, November 26, 2018. No One's Listening Show, episode 133. I've gotten through all of it. We'll be back next week. I want to thank the panel for being here and contributing. I do want to remind you to subscribe to the show. That's the best way to hear it. I mean, unless you're a dedicated live listener, you get on there on your iTunes, you go to ratradio.net, you hit that subscribe button. You can get it on all the services. You can listen to it whenever you want, in your car, with the screen off. And not like this Facebook Live thing where you got to be all in there. Oh, Manny says that Winn-Dixie donated sandwiches for our mangrove cleanup crew last week. Well, that's real nice of them. Too bad they put them in those styrofoam containers, huh? Anyway, that's the show. Thank you very much for listening. I'm sorry for ranting for 40 minutes, but it's what we got, and we'll check you out next week. That's it, I guess. Goodbye.